Today we are going to talk about grammar requirements and we will start with sentence writing. For both students and professionals, clear communication is important. Whether you are typing an email or writing a report, it's your responsibility to present your thoughts and ideas clearly and precisely. Writing in complete sentences is one way to ensure that you communicate well. So today we will cover how to recognize and write basic sentence structures and how to avoid some common writing errors. Clearly written complete sentences require key information, a subject, a verb, and a complete idea. A sentence needs to make sense on its own. Sometimes complete sentences are also called independent clauses. A clause is a group of words that may make up a sentence. An independent clause is a group of words that may stand alone as a complete, grammatically correct thought. The following example shows independent clauses. All complete sentences have at least one independent clause. You can identify an independent clause by reading it on its own and looking for the subject and the verb. When you read a sentence, you may first look for the subject, or what the sentence is about. The subject usually appears at the beginning of a sentence as a noun or a pronoun. A noun is a word that identifies a person, place, thing, or idea. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. Common pronouns are I, he, she, it, you, they, and we. In the following sentences, the subject is underlined once. Malik is the project manager for this project. He will give us our assignments. In these sentences, the subject is a person, Malik. The pronoun he replaces and refers back to Malik. The computer lab is where we will work. It will be open 24 hours a day. In the first sentence, the subject is a place, computer lab. In the second sentence, the pronoun it substitutes for computer lab as the subject. The project will run for 3 weeks. It will have a quick turnaround. In the first sentence, the subject is a thing, project. In the second sentence, the pronoun it stands in for the project. A sentence may have more than one person, place, or thing as a subject. These subjects are called compound subjects. Compound subjects are useful when you want to discuss several subjects at once. You will often read a sentence that has more than one noun or pronoun in it. You may encounter a group of words that includes a preposition with a noun or a pronoun. Prepositions connect a noun, pronoun, or verb to another word that describes or modifies that noun, pronoun, or verb. Common prepositions include in, on, under, near, by, with, and about. A group of words that begins with a preposition is called a prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and modifiers or describes a word. It cannot act as the subject of a sentence. In this slide, you can see the example of prepositional phrase. Once you locate the subject of the sentence, you can move on to the next part of the complete sentence, the verb. A verb is often an action word that shows that the subject is doing. A verb can also link the subject to a describing word. These are three types of verbs that you can use in a sentence: action verbs, linking verbs, or helping verbs. A verb that connects the subject to an action is called an action verb. An action verb answers the question, what is the subject doing? In the following sentences, the action verbs are in italics. A verb can often connect the subject of the sentence to a describing word. This type of verb is called linking verb because it links the subject to a describing word. In the following sentences, the linking word verbs are in italics. You should remember that an action verb shows that the subject is doing something, whereas a linking verb simply connects the subject to another word that describes or modifies the subjects. A third type of the verb you may use is a helping verb. Helping verbs are verbs that are used with the main verb to describe a mood or tense. Helping verbs are usually a form of be, do, or have. The word can is also used as a helping verb. So, what makes a complete sentence? The subject and the verb you use are the part of speech to build on this basic sentence. Good writers use a variety of sentence structures to make the work more interesting. Here gives different sentence structures that you can use to make longer, more complex sentences. 6 basic subject verb patterns can enhance your writing. A sample sentence is provided for each pattern. As you read each sentence, take note of where each part of the sentence falls. Notice that some sentence patterns use action verbs and others use linking verbs. The sentences you have encountered so far have been independent clauses. As you look more closely at your past writing assignments, you may notice that some of your sentences are not complete. A sentence that is missing a subject or a verb is called a fragment. A fragment may include a description or may express part of an idea, but it doesn't express a complete thought. Fragment: children helping in the kitchen. Complete sentence: children helping in the kitchen often make a mess. You can easily fix a fragment by adding the missing subject or verb. In the example, the sentence was missing a verb. Adding often make a mess creates a subject, verb, noun sentence structure. Fragments often occur because of some common errors, such as starting a sentence with a preposition, a dependent word, an infinitive, or a ground. If you use the 6 basic sentence pattern when you write, you should be able to avoid these errors and thus avoid writing fragments. When you see a preposition, check to see that it's part of the sentence containing a subject and a verb. If it's not connected to a complete sentence, it's a fragment, and you will need to fix this type of fragment by combining it with another sentence. You can add the prepositional phrase to the end of the sentence. If you add it to the beginning of the other sentence, insert a comma after the prepositional phrase. Here you can see some incorrect examples and the correct versions. When you encounter a word ending in ing in a sentence, identify whether or not this word is used as a verb in the sentence. You may also look for a helping verb. If the word is not used as a verb, or if no helping verb is used with the ing verb form, the verb is being used as a noun. An ing verb form used a noun is called a gerund. Once you know whether the ing word is acting as a noun or a verb, look at the rest of the sentence. Does the entire sentence make sense on its own? If not, what you're looking at is a fragment. You will need to either add the part of the speech that are missing or combine the fragment with a nearby sentence. Another error in sentence construction is a fragment that begins with an infinitive. An infinitive is a verb paired with the word to, for example, to run, to ride, or to reach. Although infinitives are verbs, they can be used as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. You can correct a fragment that begins with an infinitive by either combining it with another sentence or adding the parts of the speech that are missing. Just as short and complete sentences can be problematic, lengthy sentences can be problematic too. Sentences with two or more independent clauses that have been incorrectly combined are known as run-on sentences. A run-on sentences may be either a fused sentence or a comma splice. When two complete sentences are combined into one without any punctuation, the result is a fused sentence. When two complete sentences are joined by a comma, the result is a comma splice. Both errors can easily be fixed. One way to correct run-on sentences is to correct the punctuation. For example, adding a period will correct the run-on by creating two separate sentences. Using a semicolon between the two complete sentences will also correct the error. A semicolon allows you to keep the two closely related ideas together in one sentence. When you punctuate with a semicolon, make sure that both parts of sentences are independent clauses. You can also fix run-on sentences by adding a comma and a coordinating conjunction. A coordinating conjunction acts as a link between two independent clauses. Adding dependent words is another way to link independent clauses. Like the coordinating conjunction, dependent words show a relationship between two independent clauses. For the conclusion, we can present: a sentence is complete when it contains both a subject and verb. A complete sentence makes sense on its own. Every sentence must have a subject, which usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. A subject may be a noun, a person, place, or thing, or a pronoun. A prepositional phrase describes or modifies another word in the sentence, but cannot be the subject of a sentence. Variety in sentence structure and length improves writing by making it more interesting and more complex. Fragments and run-on sentences are two common errors in sentence construction. Fragments can be corrected by adding a missing subject or verb. Fragments that, being with a preposition or a dependent word, can be corrected by combining the fragments with another sentence. Run-on sentences can be corrected by adding appropriate punctuation or adding a coordinating conjunction.